but how many times do they see you as a parent achieve a goal?
Hi everyone, welcome. I'm so grateful for my guest today. She has a strong background in recruitment, people management, organization development, and strategic operations. Alli Arney, the founder of Buffalo Diamond Consulting, has over 10 years of HR experience with dozens of companies ranging from startups to Fortune 500s throughout the country. She has been sought after career coach, resume writer for multiple companies and hundreds of professionals. Alli is also author of a children's bedtime story, I Give You the Moon. Alli, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
So tell me about the book. So you wrote a book, I'll Give You the Moon. Is that, yeah? And what inspired that? So obviously you have children yourself, but what inspired you to write that book?
I've always wanted to write a book my whole life. I have always written poetry and I've published some over the years, and I've wrote for newspapers and done a lot of things pertaining to writing, even writing resumes, right? Like this is words are my thing, I guess. But it was one of those moments where, as I was saying it to my daughter, we were rocking and she was an infant. I was trying to get her to sleep and she just kind of couldn't sit still. So we had the fan on and one of those projectors that put stars on the ceiling. And I just kind of started reaching up and grabbing those stars and kind of wiping them on her face and just giving some mesmerizing movements. And I started saying, I give you the moon, I give you the stars to be whoever you want and whoever you are. And it just kind of continued from there. When I finished it in my head to her, it almost immediately came in with pictures as a book, and I knew that it just had to be published. But that took a few years. So it was 3.5 years later before it was released. Actually, probably 4 years later before it was released. So it was just a really cool process, a dream come true, something on that bucket list that I definitely wanted to check off.
Okay. What took, I guess the writing process obviously takes time and an illustration, but what took so long to actually, turn it into a book?
Confidence.
Oh, okay.
I'm a pretty confident woman in a lot of areas, but for some reason, to publish a book seemed very, I don't know, very out there for me, because it didn't feel very humble, I guess. I felt very proud to publish a book because I thought it meant that I expected people to read it. And so it took me a while to really evaluate, why do I want to publish this book? And at the heart of it, I published the book so that my children, I have 3 girls, so that they could see mom accomplish a goal, right? As parents, we tell our kids all the time, dream, you can do anything, you can be anything, reach for the stars, all those things. But how many times do they see you as a parent achieve a goal?
Ooh,
And so I wanted, yeah, I'm sorry. Some people probably may not appreciate that one, but it's the truth sometimes. And I really wanted that moment. I could see it it is. And I wanted that moment in my head. I could see it where we walk into a store and as a family see mom's book on the shelf. And it gets me a little choked up every time I think about it. Because I wanted that moment for my kids to see, this is what it looks like to accomplish a dream.
Yeah.
And give them, remove the excuse for them, I guess, at any point in life to go after those things. So they were my confidence. They were my booster. My husband's a phenomenal support system. And I had reached out to a publisher for some information. A year later, they happened to reach back out to me. I don't know how that happened, but they did. And they said, hey, we never got your manuscript. Are you still going to send that in? And I was like, I don't know. She explained the process to me, and my husband absolutely encouraged it. He was a phenomenal support system. He made me sit down and go ahead and do it. And it was the best decision I've made from a professional standpoint. So I was really thankful for that.
Wow. It is very, it's very nice when we have someone in our life that can support us, whether it's family or friend or, you know, even a coach, that really means a lot, because I think oftentimes we think like, in this moment, I don't doubt myself, I feel confident, so that's just going to take me throughout, you know, my whole life. And it doesn't work like that. As you said, you're a confident person, you teach people confidence and how to stand out and how, you know, how to move into a different career. But then when it came to doing something that you haven't done before, it just all came to a halt. And I love this. I know I myself also teach my daughter, you know, you can, I mean, she's 3, but you still put the idea
It starts early.
in their head that you can be whatever you want to be and you can pursue anything. We'll always be there to support you. But then when it comes to doing something that I'm scared of, you know, there's always this should I, shouldn't I, can I, can't I? And those are the things that then I'm teaching her you shouldn't feel. And it's like, well, you know, you may feel them, but it's important to work through it.
Yes.
What was...
Absolutely.
So explain to me, what was it that in terms of that confidence, what were you afraid of during that period?
I was, I guess, concerned that no one would want to read it. What if I published this and put myself out here, right? And not so much that people wouldn't buy it, because I felt like, you know, friends and family, people, you know, buy things to support you. But what if they see it and they don't like it? What if they see it and they say, "What in the world? Who published this? Why would you read this to your kids?" You know?
Yeah.
So getting over that concern, and if you don't mind, I'll share a little bit about a unique piece to that.
Yeah.
When I began the publishing journey, I chose to not share with anyone what the book would look like, or what the book said or was about. So my husband had read the manuscript, and my kids had heard it, obviously, because I said it to them at night. So they knew the words. But I did not share the manuscript with anyone other than my husband and the publisher. My own parents, who I'm very close with, had never heard it until it was officially published. I did not share the illustrations with anyone or what the general concept would be of those. Which was completely out of my comfort zone. I do have a great support system. I'm very blessed by that. But because of that, it's really easy for me to lean on their opinions and go to them for, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? Before I make a big leap.
Yeah.
And this was a time where I had to do it for me. And if this was my dream that I was going to accomplish, I had to do it all on my own. And so no one saw anything until it hit the shelves. So that was pretty intense. But I was so nervous, but I was so glad that I did it. And now looking back, you know, I hope I sell lots of copies, obviously. But if I never sell another copy, the confidence that I gained from doing that and being able to look my girls in the eyes and say, you know what, just do you, do what is in your heart, what God's called you to do, chase that dream and just go for it. And regardless of the outcome, at least you did it.
Yes.
And that's the goal that I want them to take away from it. So it was a really cool experience. I really enjoyed it.
It must have been. I love that, because quite similar, when I started my own business, I kept it to myself as well. I shared it with my husband and my sister, and that was also on need to know basis. Tell me from your perspective, if you were to write another book now, it would be easier, because that first one, you know, you've done, and you know the process. But if you were to do something else again, where again you required that much confidence and required that much belief in yourself, would you share it with people, and tell me why or why not? So would you do it again the same way?
That's a great question. I think I would. I think the circle of sharing may be a little bit bigger. Secret here, I have started another book. And it does require some information from someone else. It's about my daughter and her best friend.
Yeah.
So I would have to share it with the mother, of course.
Yes.
And so there would be a few other people involved in the process. But overall, I think I would keep it pretty much to myself. I think it really stretched me to see what I could do when I leaned on my own faith of my own self and without that outside reassurance. And I really enjoyed that experience and I love growing. I love personal development, so I would definitely do it again.
Yeah, that's awesome. And a lot of times when we're in that sensitive moment, we are sensitive, and a person can say, "Oh, I love it," but they may look sideways, and then you start interpreting, "Oh, what do they mean? Do they really love it? Do they not love it? Are they just saying they love it because and then we go into our heads and we spiral, and we just created extra stress for us when it wasn't necessary. Yes. So I love the idea of those people who are helping you grow, sharing it with them and thinking about how they can help to support you, and really explaining to them how they can support you, having that, I guess, an understanding, and, trying not to share it with the world until you understand it yourself. Once you understand it, you're harder to sway, one way or another way. Because I feel like in those raw moments, it's very easy to sway you, to push you or go, no, 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 you shouldn't do it. Or yes, 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 you should do it, but you should do it this way. You should add this or this or this. And then it doesn't become your dream or your vision. It becomes influence of other people's. And other people who may not even have any experience or have any real knowledge within that field.
Absolutely. And it's kind of like when you get out of your comfort zone, it's like walking a tightrope, right? Like the wind could blow and sway you anyway, but you have to just stay looking forward and super concentrated, laser focused in order to just get to the destination that you're pursuing. And it's okay if the wind shifts you a little bit or makes you step a little differently. But, sometimes those are blessings, things that we need. But also sometimes they can be huge deterrents. And so I think you have to really know yourself well and, know your own truths, know your own goals and focus, and be able to pursue it from that perspective.
Okay. Wow, that's awesome. If we have anyone in the audience who is thinking about writing a children's book, what would you recommend, or what takeaways did you have from that process that you could obviously do better now, but, you could also pass that knowledge on?
Sure. I was really blessed to work with Christian Faith Publishing, and there's many publishers out there like them. They kind of handle the whole process. They walked me through it. They had an illustrator, they edited, they marketed the book, they did radio stations, they did everything for me.
Wow.
But with my permission, and I have the complete rights to the book and everything associated with it. So I think I would definitely encourage somebody for their first book to use, if you really don't know much about the publishing process, use a publisher and one that will go to bat for you and help you really get your foot out there so that you can get started the right way, and just have that confidence that there's that buffer there. They can handle your questions, they can field you a little bit, and just have some help.
Okay, yes, okay. That's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on. It was absolute pleasure talking to you. We had some great insights there, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. And, when your next book comes out, contact us and we'll have this conversation again.
I appreciate it, and thank you so much for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.